All right, guys, so in this module, we're going to look at the trade selection process. We've got some great trade ideas, i.e. setups, strategies that we want to use, whether that's momentum ignition, whether that's exhaustion, whether we kind of just want to look for price action under certain conditions and kind of come up with a thesis and hypothesis. But we want to kind of use those tools, if you like, as part of a bigger picture. So I've got for you 6 different ways or 6 kind of strategies that we use to select our trade. Because don't forget, let's go right back and remember, we want to get that risk reward as high as possible. We also want to get the probability of success as high as possible. So by selecting the very best trades, what we believe are the very best trades. Now, of course, wouldn't it be nice if we knew that a trade was going to be profitable? We'd wait for a trade to come along. If we knew it was going to be profitable, we'd just put our full net worth in on it and rinse and repeat, and we'd be overtaking Bill Gates by the end of the week. Doesn't work like that, does it? So we have to kind of try to put the odds on our favor, try to swing the things on our side, but we never know until we actually place the trade. Okay, so let's have a look at number 1. So number 1 is triggers and filters, and this is the kind of the power of using what I call a 2-stage trade selection process. This has worked very, very well for me, and I know others who it's worked for as well. So we're going to go into depth about that, but very, very briefly, it's filtering the trades that match the criteria you want, which gives you that probability of success, and then finding a trigger which only will execute under certain circumstances, which then gives you that risk reward ratio that we need. So it's a kind of way of combining them. So filters is bringing stuff into your attention, and then trigger is the actual kind of extra little things that you need to see before you pull the trigger on the trade. Very powerful. We're going to go through that next after this 6. Okay, number 2, technical first. So a way we can do this, we can be traders this way, is by scanning for using technicals as our filter. So let's say we're not interested in anything else, but we just want to see a specific price pattern. So let's say we want to see a 5% move in a day on a stock. That would be a very simple technical filter, and that would be a technical first approach. Maybe we want to see, we could use this where an indicator could come in potentially. We want to see an ADX above a certain number, which should indicate a trend, or maybe we want to see the price above a 5-period moving average, which would indicate very aggressive move, or something like that. Or we would want to see something like it's a new 52-week high, this kind of thing. So it's a technical way of scanning. So that's one way of doing it. The other way, or number 3 we've got here, is fundamental first. So we're going to look at how we can scan for trades using a fundamental catalyst as a foundation, as opposed to technicals. So that might be earnings coming in. This is not our fundamentals, by the way, guys. Just clear this up. It's not like PE ratios or market cap or anything like that. This is external influences, what I would call fundamentals that perhaps aren't traditionally fundamentals, but like we looked at earlier, the external influences coming in. So perhaps there is a positive earnings call on a stock, perhaps there is an interest rate change, perhaps there is something happening in a market that's very, very correlated to that kind of stuff. And then 4, we've got event driven, so specifically based on events. So rather than, okay, fundamentals, there's a little bit of crossover here, but events is more a repricing scenario. So in other words, something that surprises the market. It doesn't really matter what it is in this example as opposed to fundamentals. This is event driven, i.e. something has happened to the market that has caused the market to be very, very caught off guard, if you like, and a big supply demand shift. So whatever that may be, event comes in, we get alerted to that, and we trade based on that. Now, we don't just punt on it, we wait, of course, for our setups and our triggers. So number 5 is trade idea generation. So with trade idea generation, this is kind of what we're going to look for now. Is those 3, if you like, are technical, fundamental, and event driven, are ways of actually getting the trades. It's not kind of scanning for the filters of the trades. We're going to look at triggers and filters, which is the first thing, which is how we execute, how we scan, and then how we pull the trigger. And then number 5 is trade idea generation. So how we build our trade idea generation database, and then we'll look at kind of multiple markets versus single market setups. And then we're going to look at trade setup grading system. This is really good, guys. This is kind of stuff that's I can't quantify this, but I just know that it's worked very, very well for me. So I'm sharing it with you. It's basically a way that we grade our trades into categories so that you can obviously we only want to take the very best trades anyway, but further than that, there are going to be trades that match a lot of criteria. Now, just one word on this. There are some traders out there who are very successful traders who are kind of advocates for fixed position sizing regardless. There are other traders out there who say that you kind of push the throttle down when you see something that's working. And that seems to be the majority. That's the camp that I generally sit on. And that seems to be the majority of traders. So the theory behind it is, when, and the question is, well, when do you know if it's going to be a great trade? We don't know, but the grading system, which we're going to look at in a second, is a way that you can put your trades into different kind of categories and then say, okay, well, that's a grade A trade. I'm prepared to risk, a month's worth of risk on that because I don't get these very often. Or that's a grade C trade. I'm going to cut my position in half. Grade B might be single position. We'll look at it later on, but that's the kind of thesis of it. The idea being that we can be flexible and we can start to become a little bit more aggressive and grow that account, going back to what we're trying to do, make as much money as possible with the least risk possible,